Was Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora dumb? Yes. Was it fun? Yes. It was completely dumb fun. I mean, if you expected beautiful boxing going into this fight, you've obviously never watched Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora fight a day in your life, because neither of these guys are the textbook boxers. You want beautiful boxing at heavyweight, go watch Oleksandr Usyk. You want sloppy heavyweight brawl fun, this was the fight for you. Deontay Wilder got away with a win, split decision over Derek Chisora in Chisora's retirement match. I had the fight going to Chisora, but you know, there's some arguments to be made there. Regardless, this fight was absolutely a blast. I was actually quite cynical about this fight. I didn't think it was going to be a fun fight. I did not think thought it was going to be sad. This was obviously Derek Chisora's retirement fight, and I thought we were going to see a ugly fight and one where he's just being sent out to the pasture. Kind of like Old Yeller. We're going to take him out to the pasture and, you know, do what we got to do. Instead, Chisora came and brought a fun fight. And it's crazy, too, because it's not like Deontay Wilder looked god-awful. Like, he looked bad, like, about as good as he's ever looked. But he didn't quite, you know how to handle the pressure of Derek Chisora. And that's kind of where we leave things off with, like, fighting Derek Chisora must be, like, absolutely just terrible. Like, he is a difficult fighter to fight, and you watch him fight Usyk, and Usyk's like, I think it was his heavyweight debut. Mistake me if I'm wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong, I should say. But you watch him fight a Derek Chisora, or Oleksandr Usyk fight Derek Chisora, and you're like, man, he really is a hard guy, because he's just gonna barrel forward, put his hand down, and throw these big overhand ringing hands that are just going to hurt. He even hurt Deontay Wilder at times. You know, he's very difficult to fight. And Deontay Wilder had some good answers for it, but it wasn't quite enough because Chisora made this ugly. There was lots of complaining from Deontay Wilder, which we shouldn't be surprised by. That's all Deontay Wilder does is complain to the ref about whatever. Anytime anything goes not his way in a clinch or an exchange, he complained back of the head 90% of the time. Deontay Wilder saying, "Oh, he hit me in the back of the head." A, you turned your head there, or B, it wasn't to the back of the head and you just thought it hurt a little too much. You're trying to cheat. That's what it is. But yeah, Chisora's always barreling forward, kind of throwing huge, giant overhand rights. I don't want to say like Joe Frazier because it's not quite the same. Joe Frazier loved to bob up and down, and then come up with that big booming left hand. Gave everybody fits from George Cavallo to Muhammad Ali. Didn't give George Foreman fights, but fits that. But that's neither here nor there. Frazier was a monster to deal with, very hard to deal with. Chisora is a little sloppier than that, but the same principle applies, where he's dipping under, you're missing punches, and then all of a sudden he comes up with a big one. He doesn't do it quite as predictable as Joe Frazier did, but he does it enough to where it's like, okay, we need to know how George Foreman dealt with this, and Foreman just being a freak of nature punched from the hips and hurt him. The fight though was very, very sloppy. It wasn't a Joe Frazier fight. Very, very sloppy, very ugly fight, but at the end of the day, it was fun. Derek Chisora, this was his 50th pro fight. It was a testament to what he is as a fighter. Always a tough out, always a hard ask, and he was tough to get out there. He fought the heaviest hitter of his generation and couldn't get put away. Now, he's been put away before, but by prettier boxers, not by Deontay Wilder. Now, Wilder himself, man, he's added new weapons to this. Don't get me wrong. Deontay Wilder's added some not unique, but different weapons that we've not really seen him use before. First of all, he had the jab going, and we've seen him use the jab, and when he uses it, it works well because he uses it as a really good range finder. And it's kind of like a catch-22 because Wilder, he does reach and hold his hands out for that range, but when he feels that range, he knows he can hit with the right hand, and he comes behind with the right hand. And you saw him do that a lot, but you saw also a lot of time Chisora's like, oh, you're reaching with your right hand, huh? Whoop, over the top. Chisora did that a lot this fight. But there was another thing that Wilder added. I was like, oh, that's nice. He was throwing a nice rear uppercut. And for somebody that's going to be putting their head down quite as often as Derek Chisora puts his head down, I was like, okay, this is a good weapon. Now, Deontay Wilder being the not boxer he is, just the literal power puncher, he didn't quite have enough mechanics for this. He wasn't quite planted into his stance. His feet always cross. He doesn't quite generate enough power. Oddly enough, right? He doesn't generate enough power with the uppercut. That said, this was a nice refresher. If you remember his last fight, after he lost to Joseph Parker, I forget the guy's name. I'm sorry. It took him 7 rounds to knock the guy out. It was because he was a little too passive. This was not a passive fight, and I think part of that's by nature of Derek Chisora, the way he fights. He brings a fight to you, whereas the other guy, he was like, okay, I'm gonna let Wilder come to me. But like he really did, he brought out the boomstick this fight. He was fun, and he really did bang with the Derek Chisora, and that's all we really kind of wanted if we wanted anything out of this fight. Again, I was cynical going into this, but as I watched it after the fact, and I was like, oh, okay, that was entertaining. Some friends of mine were like, hey, that was a really fun fight. Like, it was sloppy, but it was fun. But yeah, the things that we're going to fix Deontay Wilder at, like, 40 years old now, there's nothing that's going to be there. You can tell him, hey, we're going to throw an uppercut, but that's not going to fix his base where he punches from. He has that long, wide stance when he's out in the middle, but the second you start pressing to him, he really can't hurt you. Like, he can, because he's got God's gift of touch, but at the end of the day, it was really just him crossing his feet. The uppercut doesn't work because he's not planted in his base. Now, I hinted earlier that I thought, Derek Chisora won this fight. These types of fights, I thought Wilder landed the bigger shots of the fight. First of all, let's go there. Whereas Chisora did land some big shots of his own. Wilder had the 2 knockdowns. I had a point taken, but he had 2 knockdowns. These types of fights are really, really hard to score because of the way Derek Chisora fights. Like, he's in there, he's throwing wherever he can, he's landing on whatever he can, but like, arm punches don't count. Missed punches don't count, and there's a lot of the times where he's in there, he's missing punches. You go back and watch it, you can see Derek Chisora missing punches all the time. You never know what's really landing here. Obviously, when Wilder lands, it's much cleaner, it's more dramatic, because it's like, ooh, we know he could put the lights out at any time, so his reputation kind of precedes him. But also, like, he does have that insane, incredible power. And then, like, another thing that was kind of skewing everybody off was the pro Derek Chisora crowd, which I get. It was, in his home stadium. But there's that one huge right where he had Wilder backing up, and they were going crazy. And then every right hand he threw after that even came close, that even looked like it was going to land on Deontay Wilder, the crowd would jump to their feet and go crazy over. So, that might have been jading it a little bit. I truly thought Wilder lost the fight. I found maybe 4 rounds for him. I didn't write down the scores, but, with a 10-8, that gives him 5 rounds, not quite enough to win a 12-round bout. But then, like, I can't sit here and cry robbery, though, because it's a close fight if that's the case. And with 1 or 2 swing rounds, like that first round was a swing round, you could really start to lean Wilder's way. Would have been cool to see Derek Chisora go out on a win, but let's be honest now, it's much better than Deontay Wilder. One, because boxing is so much better with him in it, and with him winging on heavyweights. So now everybody wants to know who he fights next. Obviously, Fury's out. Usyk's in the playbook, I guess. Usyk's got to fight Rico Verhoeven, a kickboxing world champion. There's the Anthony Joshua fight, the one that got away. Everybody wants to fight, like, those 3 guys. Fury, Joshua, and Wilder should have fought. Fury and Wilder already fought. Tyson Fury hasn't fought Anthony Joshua, and neither has Deontay Wilder. So one of those guys are going to get that payday. And as Makhmudov and Fury face off this weekend, it's going to be a race of who can get Usyk first. And obviously the Usyk sweepstakes are going to be limited, because it's like, who else is he going to fight? Usyk's expressed interest in fighting Deontay Wilder, but at the end of the day, will that actually happen? Wilder called out Moses Itauma. I think that's a horrible idea, but I also think he could land on Moses Itauma. I like the Dubois and the Wardley fight also. The real fight is Moses Itauma, though. Or it's Anthony Joshua, to be honest with you. But if you really want a new guy to get in there, and we talked about it last week with Itauma and his last win, but we talked about him needing to get over and get a win that's high quality. Deontay Wilder's that high quality win. Former champion, the heaviest hitter in boxing, feared by everybody. And if you can go in there and say, hey, Tyson Fury did it. Joshua did not. I'll gladly fight him. Let's go. You know, you can really kind of boost your name for the Usyk sweepstakes. You beat him, so why is Usyk gonna fight him? So all in all, it was a fun fight. I'll give credit where credit's due. I thought this fight was interesting. It was fun, but I don't know if it was needed. We have it. We got it, and it's in the books now. And Wilder will move on to fight another day. As far as Derek Chisora, congratulations on the great career. You were a great boxer. As much as I like to trash talk a little bit on here and say like, oh, you were an ugly sloppy boxer, which you did work for you, and I like that. I like that a lot. This week we will be previewing Tyson Fury and Arslanbek Makhmudov, and then Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis. Not really a technical look on that. More of a why is Fury fighting type thing, and then the whole Conor Benn situation with Zuffa Boxing. This playlist right here has our whole video playlist of everything we do, all of our previews, all of our reactions, all of that. So if you want to stay, subscribe to the channel, and then follow this playlist. This is everything you're ever going to want.